As you may know, I am the prime sponsor of Senate Bill 28, which would reform the permitting process here in the Commonwealth. And the bill would require all agencies which issue permits to increase transparency throughout the process by posting the information about those permits on their publicly accessible websites, much like the trackers that we see in the private sector. Amazon, Papa John's, you can track anything from your order to your doorstep. The legislature has a similar tracking process to watch the status of each and every piece of legislation. I'm sure you probably have even used that. And even the United States Postal Service has that feature turned on to track deliveries. So we have all heard from constituents who are trying to deal with applying for one of the various types of permits in different state agencies and continually running up against roadblocks when trying to access information about the status of their application. And I have to say, it's not all doom and gloom. I have to give your team credit for their ongoing commitment to a local developer in Southern York County. They have been very responsive, and I appreciate that. But I'm hoping that you might be able to provide an update on your permitting process to date. And specifically, it's a three-pronged question. So how many permits do you currently have pending within your department? What is the average length of time to process a permit? And have you and your team implemented any updates or improvements to the permitting process?
No, thank you for the question. We have 5,650 permits currently pending. Our average, and I should say permits authorizations, our average processing time is right around 60 days across the board. That's everything, so the range can be significant there, where some authorizations might take a few days. When you get into complex air quality permitting, it can take a significant amount of time. In terms of things we've been doing, and some of it is process in terms of moving things more quickly. Some of it is that transparency piece. On the process piece, it's everything from actually yesterday, when effective, as an example, PAG01. It's a general permit for erosion and sedimentation permits. Small, 5 acre or less, farm kind of structures, those kinds of things that allow you to just pick a standard stormwater BMP from a list. Do some relatively simple calculations, and it's a much easier way to get the general permit without going through all of the engineering analysis and things that you have to do under other general permits and individual permits. And
that's something new and recent that you've
we published it in December, but gave the effective date for March 1st so that we had 3 months for training and kind of acclimating people to it and all of that. So that became effective yesterday. We have a weekly meeting of the program managers and our executive deputy's office to just go over permit status, where people like running into issues, what is over timeframes, coming overdue on our end. I will say, in terms of the numbers, what we've seen is that 5,650 that we have in-house right now is the lowest number we've had. That is a swing of 2,000 permits just in a quarter in terms of the amount that have come down. We've been doing a lot of work with the union in particular to get some approval so we can move permits around more easily. Kind of the way organizationally we're structured
within your different DEP regions.
Yeah, so if we're running into an issue in one region where they're getting backed up, we can look to move that. I will say some of the way we accomplished this was significant amounts over time, which is one of the reasons why we're hopeful about trying to bring on some additional positions so we can keep these permits moving.
Well, I appreciate that. And again, I'd like to point out, as I said earlier, that Senate Bill 28 would create a tracker of sorts on permitting in your agency, and for that matter, every state agency. And I have to believe that if the United States Postal Service, of all entities, could create a tracking process, I have no doubt that DEP and the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania could create something as well. And if we can expedite permits, you know, still dot all the I's and cross all the T's, cut down the process. You know, time is money on both inside your department and outside in the private sector. And if we could facilitate that to happen, I think that would be a really good thing for every Pennsylvanian. So.
One of those tracking items we're actually working on right now to get into eFax is a flag that will show you where it is. So is it with us or is it with the applicant, as an example? If we sent out like a deficiency letter, is it still on their desk or has it come back to us? So you'll actually be able to see kind of where in process things are, you know, in addition to just like something was issued or you know, we issued a TD letter.
Well, I would look forward to learning more about that and
Absolutely.
think we have an opportunity to make government more efficient and more effective. And I thank you, Secretary McDonnell. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.